Welcome to 5 Mistakes to Avoid when Targeting the Hispanic Market. My name is Mariela Tragish and I am President and CEO of Mariela Communications. We specialize in the Hispanic market in the areas of public relations, advertising, market research, communications, media production, and community outreach programs, as well as public relations. Before I start, I just want to let you know that if you have never targeted the Hispanic market before, this is still good because you will get an enhanced view of whether you are planning to do it, you have in mind the pilot program. This will give you some points of how to start your marketing program as well as target the Hispanic market. If you're already targeting the Hispanic market, this will also enhance your point of view and maybe you can change and revise your plan. That being said, welcome to 5 mistakes to avoid when targeting the Hispanic market. Mistake number 1, could be a mistake, could be a myth, lost in translation. What does that mean? Transferring general marketing strategies into the Hispanic market, treating the market as an extension of the general market. Many times companies have very successful marketing approach to the general market. So they want to target the Hispanic market, so they transfer everything they have done, their market research, their programs, into this new market. Unfortunately, it really gets lost in translation. Why is that? Because the Hispanic market has a different cultural value system than the general market. They have a different language, different culture, different eating habits, and a different point of view on how they perceive the brand. So another thing that companies do, they do direct translations of their already established marketing programs in the general market. What happens with that? A lot of times they don't approach professionals who are creative. A lot of times, if they have a bilingual person on board, they just dump all these creative materials. The person translates them. And this is a literal translation. By the time it gets to the Hispanic market, it makes no sense to them. So what you need is to target, have professionals in your company or outsource it so that when you translate something, it's not a direct translation, but it's a creative translation. Also, Hispanic brand awareness and usage levels are often dramatically unlike the general market patterns. Different product attributes are deemed very different by the Hispanic consumer. What to do then? How can you avoid that mistake, that myth? There are some very relevant and basic facts. Would be almost the same as what you do in the general market. That would be start with control market test, utilizing actionable data to guide your success and your marketing plan. Conduct qualitative research, whether you want to do qualitative or quantitative focus groups, whatever that may be. That will really get you into the mind of the Hispanic consumer, and then you can really understand what they're thinking and how do you want to position your brand and your overall outlook of distribution and things like that. Mistake number 2, they treat the Hispanic market as homogeneous segment. What does that mean? That means they speak Spanish, therefore everybody is the same. Unfortunately, there are more than 20 countries that encompass the Hispanic market. A lot of them have, in fact, most of them have different outlooks. It's what we call subculture. The subcultural difference are whether they have a different outlook on when they eat some food products, where they celebrate different holidays, they have different approach to whatever they see with your brand. I always remember, I'm sure you're all familiar with Goya. So the founder of Goya, which is hard to remember his name, it was Prudencio Unanue Ortiz. He was the founder of Goya. He was a savvy marketer. He immigrated in the 1930s to Puerto Rico. He married there, then he moved to New York. He said, I want to start a company that, is a bean company. So I want to have all kinds of different beans, but nobody can pronounce my name, nobody will remember my name, it's very hard. So coming from Spain, he thought of something simple, Goya, the great painter of the 17th or 18th century. So he said, I like Goya. Unfortunately, when he went to trademark that, it was already taken. It was already taken by a Moroccan company in the 1930s who they imported or exported sardines. So he said, well, what am I going to do? I really want this name. It's easy to remember. I can apply it to my company. So he went to this company and he said, I want your name. I want to buy Goya. And they said, we have no problem with that. He bought it for $1 in 1932. So that's a savvy market. Number two thing that he used to say, we Spanish have one thing in common. We have one language, Spanish, but we are totally divided by beans. What did he mean by that? If you talk about the Caribbean Hispanics, that would be Puerto Ricans, Dominican Republic, Cubans, they love black beans. If you move to the West with the Mexican market, they like pinto beans. So he knew that he couldn't just get beans, oh, they all speak Spanish, therefore they just throw all these beans out there. No, he was very marketing savvy. He knew his segments, he knew the name, he knew brand awareness. He is, as you all know, he's still here. Well, not him, but the company is still here, and he's very successful. Now, continuing with Hispanics not being a homogeneous group of people, we have to understand that 4% of them are Cuban, 6% of them are from other Hispanic origins. That could be Dominican Republic, 9% Puerto Rican, and then when you come to the West Coast, you're going to have 15% Central and South America and 66% Mexican. That doesn't mean that maybe there are some, Mexican families living in the East Coast, but if you really want to market, I have ended my presentation and I would like to know if you have any questions.
Our key sandwich that you sell somewhere else, it's okay to change the price to accommodate people in their local area.
So you're saying somebody in Hollywood versus East LA? Yeah, it depends upon the retailers too. You see, yesterday actually I had somebody here that said he had these products, and he said for some reason when they sell in the Korean market, the markup is like almost 100%. But he said when he sold it at Mexican retailers, so the price does change, depending who owns the supermarket or the chain. Yeah, that depends. And sometimes you can. If the retailer is taking a lot of markup, you can negotiate that to something that is sensible, but yeah, it can be in different places, yeah. Because when you have two different cultures, the Anglo general market is an individual market. The Hispanic is a collective market, which means the Anglos are direct and to the point. Hispanics are relational and indirect. Hispanics believe in hierarchy, social classes. In the US is equal rights, democracy, where here is more, in the Hispanic market is more social strata, hierarchy. Where does that come in play to the family? Well, we have the grandmother. The grandma is treasure in the Hispanic family. She is words of wisdom. So it's always good to have all the generation. For this, 1% milk thing we did for the Department of Health Services with the dairy, we had to have grandma, mother, and granddaughter. You have to have that because you want to emphasize that hierarchy. I love my family, I love the different generations, so they're portrayed there. Then they love, one of the things that we did here, just to encourage them to buy 1% milk, because to be honest, 1% milk is a very boring milk. However, it had more calcium than anything, and that was the message, so it caught their eye. But then I said, what are we going to do? So what we did is we had some really good recipes, and then we included other products that also are high in calcium.